My name is Khoiriyah Aprianti. I will explain about the gerund. What is a gerund? Gerund look like a verb, but there's actually a noun. We all know that a verb is an action, right? We do a verb. For example, I jog every morning. But sometimes I just want to talk about an action, not do it. Jogging is one of my favorite ways to exercise. I love jogging. I'm talking about jogging as an action. I'm not jogging right now. I'm just talking about something that I love to do. So in other words, I'm referring to the action of jogging as a noun or a thing. So I've just used the gerund. That's gerund. I use a word that look like a verb as a noun. So how can we recognize the gerund? What does luck look like? Well, the gerund is formed by adding ing to the base form of a verb. So the base form is jog with ing, jogging. I love jogging. Jog is the base form and jogging is the gerund. Gerund as subject. Gerund as the subject is a gerund which lists at the beginning of the sentence. Gerund was often used as the subject of a sentence to discuss activity, habit, fact, or opinion. Gerund has always been a single form. To the verb that follows is a verb for a single person, is, has, or a verb plus s. Example: dancing makes me happy. Dancing is the gerund. Sleeping is what I need right now. Sleeping is the gerund. Eating the fruit and vegetable is good for our body. Eating the fruit and vegetable is the gerund. Swimming in the lake every summer is our tradition. Swimming in the lake every summer is the gerund.
Okay, thanks Khoiriyah. Now, I want to explain about the gerund as subjective complements. The gerund as subject complements is the gerund is combined with form to be such as is, am, and are in other words. The gerund as subject complements is commonly found in passive sentence. The formula is subject plus adverb plus gerund plus noun. Then the example: Puspa is begun to sleep as she is finishing her assignment. Okay, I want to explain the gerund as direct object. The gerund as direct object, an object that immediately accepts the action or result of a verb. The formula is subject plus verb plus gerund plus complement. The example is Puspa is forever studying alone. And next will be explained by Sylvia. Dadah!
Thank you, Puspa. Hello everyone, I'm Sylvia Amelia. How is it going? In this occasion, I'm gonna try to explain to you about indirect object. So, how to identify the main English? Okay, let's get started. First of all, the object of the sentence is present when a noun is receiving action from the verb. In the English sentence, subject and adverb usually come before the direct object and indirect object. So, if you know how to identify what the subject and verb are, finding the indirect object will not be that hard. So, the first thing that you have to do is you have to know how to identify subject and verb in the sentence. Do you know what is indirect object? Indirect object is the noun or pronoun that receives the direct object. For a sentence to have an indirect object, there should always be a direct object. It answers the question to whom or for whom the session of the verb is performed. It is the one receiving the direct object. Like what we did the direct object, we also need to identify first the subject and the verb in the sentence. And the second one, identify the direct object. And the last one, ask the question using to whom or for whom the action is performed. For example, Grandma bakes my friend some cakes. Let's identify subject and verbs in the sentence. So, our subject here is grandma, and our verb is bakes. Now, identify the direct object. But the problem is there are two objects here, my friend and cake. Well, if we still remember how to identify the direct object, we can ask the question with what or whom. So, we can use what does grandma bake? The answer is some cakes. So, our direct object is cakes. Now, identify the indirect object. Remember, ask the question for whom or to whom. So, the answer is my friend. Therefore, my friend is indirect object. The next example. My brother gave me a bracelet. Our subject here is my brother, and our verb is give, that the direct object is a bracelet. How about the indirect object? Now, make a question using for whom or to whom. To whom does my brother give a bracelet? Of course, the pronoun me, so the indirect object is me. That's all for me, and the next material will be explained by my friend.
Gerund as of the preposition. We can also add a preposition before a gerund. The as of the gerund after preposition is called the gerund as the object the preposition. The preposition that all commonly used before gerund are about, of, by, to, before, after, at, in, without, and so on. Gerund phrase. Gerund, a phrase that is characterized by the end but is one of the phrases that can be used as an offensive phrase. The infinitive is the passive form of the verb. The format of the infinitive is to first verb plus or verb 1. So if the verb usually changes form in the infinitive, the verb does not change at all from the basic form. Verb infinitive is a sentence verb that can be used without using to in the sentence. The verb infinitive is often referred to as the base form sub-infinition of zero infinitive. Additional infinitive only applies to possessive verb sentence. For any other form of the sentence, the subject is still verb infinitive. To infinitive is a basic verb that starts with the word to, and usually functions as a regular noun or verb that can be followed by an object. This verb is often referred to as a infinitive with the infinitive verb with to.
Okay, gerund phrases. Namely, a gerund followed by an object or preceded by a possessive adjective. Meanwhile, the possessive adjective is used to explain the ownership of an object.
Reading a novel is my hobby, and then I like reading a short story, and your singing is beautiful. Your is a possessive adjective from the subject she, followed by a noun or gerund. Singing is the verb. Then beautiful is the complement. Then the next use of the gerund is after getol berisi. What is getol berisi? These are the words I have shortened it to make it easier to memorize. What is included in the getol berisi? Here are the words. Yes, get used to, object to, look forward to, be used to, be averse to, be accustomed to, and converse to. The word be here is not be, but to be. Furthermore, after getting to be there is also the use of be used to. Be used to plus verb ing. I am used to sleeping with my father. Meanwhile, the word used to which doesn't begin with be or to be in front of it is not followed by a verb ing, but followed by a bare infinitive. So, don't reverse the use of be used to followed by verb ing, while the use of to without being followed by to be or be on front of it is followed by a bare infinitive. Used to plus verb 1. I used to sleep with my father. Apart from that, there is also a list of words followed by a gerund after a certain verb, such as okay, for example, namely, avoid cheating in exam. So, after a fall, then followed by gerund or verb ing. And then second example, he keeps singing for his mother. And then infinitive. The form of the infinitive and the gerund is actually quite similar. So the infinitive and the gerund are really tricky. If we are working on an exam, the infinitive itself functions as a verb, while the gerund functions as a noun. Infinitive is divided into bare infinitive, additional infinitive, and to infinitive. Bare infinitive is the basic verb or the first verb. Meanwhile, additional infinitive is the verb affix s or es, and to infinitive is the first from verb that start with to. So the form is to plus verb 1. First, the bare infinitive. I explain once again that the verb of the first form here is a root verb. So even so, the subject is in the third person singular, it still shouldn't be followed by s or es behind it. Its first use is after the word modals. For example, she will call you. The word will is modal, while call is the verb of the first form. Then, its second usage is after a certain case verb. Namely, let, make, have is usually followed by an object. Then after that will be followed by the first form of the verb. Yups, this is also the material about causative verb. An example of that is, his father made him go. It has the word make followed by the object him, and followed by go, which is the first form of the verb. Then after the word would rather or had better plus verb 1. Would rather is also a discussion material in preference. For example, He would rather stay at home. There is the word would rather then always be followed by the bare infinitive.
Thank you, Risa. Next, I will explain to you about two infinitives. Two infinitives is a basic verb that starts with to and usually function as a regular noun or verb that can be followed by object. This verb is often referred to as the infinitives with to. Next, explain about two infinitives of purpose. Two infinitives of purpose is when we want to say the reason of an action and answer to the question why and what for. What is the infinitives of purpose? Infinitives of purpose is the infinitive tense to plus verb to express an intention. So, we use the infinitive of purpose and we are saying why we want to do something. Look at the example. I'm calling you to tell you about my birthday party. He is learning English to find a good job. So again, we use the infinitive of purpose to plus verb where we are saying why we want to do something. Okay, that's all for me. The next material will be explained by my friend.
Okay, thanks for Sylvia. Now, I want to explain about the infinitive as subject. The infinitive as subject indicates that the topic of the sentence or conversation is an action. Then, the infinitive as subject usually beginning of sentence. Then, the formula is subject plus predicate. For the example, to understand math is easy. Then, in the second, I want to explain about the infinitive as object. The infinitive as object is from after certain verbs, especially transitive verbs, and usually comes in the ends of the sentence. The example, they tried to escape. In the third, I want to explain about the infinitive as subject complements. The infinitive as subject complement is the form after to be, such as is, am, and are. The formula is subject plus to be plus infinitive. Then, for example, my ambition is to become a teacher. Then, that's all from me. Thank you. Next will be explained by Ilham. Dadah!
The to infinitive after the adjective. There is a common pattern of using the to infinitive with an adjective. Their phrases are formatted in a pattern. Subject first to be for adjective, adjective first for or of someone to plus to infinitive plus rest of sentence. To infinitive with adverb. The to infinitive is also often used with the adverb to and no to state the reason behind our satisfaction or dissatisfaction. The pattern is that to and no are friends before or after an adjective, adverb, or noun that is modified in the same way without the to infinitive. Then we put the to infinitive after it to explains the reason why the amount is excessive, sufficient, or insufficient, usually the infinitive and everything to follow it can be omitted, leaving a grammatically good sentence. To infinitive after ordinal number. We ask the to plus infinitive after the ordinal first, second, third, etc. And also after the next and last.
My name is Khoiriyah Aprianti. I will explain about infinitive phrase as adverb. As adverb, infinitive phrase is used to explain or give a reason. Example of infinitive phrase working as an adverb is a sentence. I am working hard to make people happy. So, to make people happy is infinitive phrase that's working as an adverb. Why is it working as an adverb? Because it is answering the question why I am working hard. It is modifying the verb working. I am working hard. Why? To make people happy. So to make people happy is my infinitive phrase. To make is the infinitive, people is the object, and happy is the object complement. Other example, they are coming tomorrow to celebrate my birthday. So to celebrate my birthday is my infinitive phrase. To celebrate is my infinitive, and my birthday is the object of the verb celebrate. Other example, she working very hard to pass the exam. So to pass the exam is the infinitive phrase, to pass is the infinitive, and the exam is the object of verb pass.